Hogstye.
All right, everybody, let's do this. It is the Hogsty. It is your host, Alex. It is Steve. It is Dave. Steve just made a grimacy face. I don't know what that was about. Uh, but he's not doing his hand gestures anymore. He's finally gotten bored of that joke. I'm very happy about that.
Well, no, actually, see, our fourth cast member was going crazy out
Right.
here because he had a lot to say. He has a lot to say this week, and so I really couldn't
I
hear
wish somebody
anything.
had something to say.
I couldn't hear anything about what you were saying because he was vocalizing his displeasure with the status of the team very, very loudly as
Well, I
you
was
brought us
telling a
on the
very
air.
I was telling a very funny story, but I won't tell it on the air because it would embarrass my wife. So I'm not going to do it on the air. It was a off the air funny story that you
Is
missed.
there a story that will embarrass you and not your wife that you could tell?
Oh,
There's got to be a lot of embarrassing Alex stories. I mean,
not
you embarrass
lately.
yourself regularly.
Look. I have no shame in telling embarrassing stories. That is not an issue for me. You know that. Uh, I I haven't done anything really embarrassing lately. I'm going to the UFL game this weekend.
That's embarrassing all of it of itself.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited. The DC Defenders are going to raise their banner over Audi Field. Washington winning a football championship. Second one gone and really actively supported because I was a little kid when the
Well,
skins
see, you are
obviously.
the fan that will be at the game,
I will be one of the 10,000. I
one
will.
of the 10.
I'll be in the beer snake section. I'll
What
be
was the name of that league that took me 5 minutes to get us credentialed
Arena
for?
Football League. The
Yeah,
Arena
the
Football
Yeah.
AFL.
League. Yep. That is gone. The UFL still going strong though now in year 4. So good for
This
them.
is the thing that who's the actor is involved in, right?
Dwayne Johnson was involved. He sold his
Oh, he did.
ownership. Yeah. It's now
Yeah,
owned by some billionaire who's very active on Twitter all the time. It's interesting. He's like
If I
constantly
w-
doing
why is
that
any
thing.
billionaire active on Twitter?
Because
I
when you
don't
have
understand that.
people don't work anymore, Steve. Like every job has fallen down to like 6 guys at every company, and everyone else just makes money off of it.
I'm just saying. I mean, if you're a billionaire, don't you have something better to do? See, Kobe's very upset about
He
this.
he has nothing better to do. The thing he did that was better was he bought himself a minor league sports team or league, sorry, not team, and he's just gonna hang out and goof off with that all day. That's his bit.
I would get really bored with this.
so
Uh,
Mike Ripole,
yeah, microphone.
Repole is a guy.
Yes,
It sounds like something I ought to talk about for 5 minutes on It's Just Business.
you
Actually, I don't
could.
want to bore the audience even more. Like we've stayed away from soccer on It's Just Business because soccer is not a sport,
Right.
mainly, and it's got to be sort of loosely tied to sports, and soccer is not a sport. So we try to stick to like sports that people somewhat care about.
Right. So Micropole made $2.5 billion estimated, because he co-founded Glacu, which was sold to Coca-Cola for 4.1. I've never even heard of it. Oh,
Wait. Yeah,
Glaciu.
thank
It's
you.
a
You're
water.
totally wrong.
Yeah,
Yes, that's
I've never
you're
heard of
still
that.
pronouncing it wrong, but yes, it's continue. So
What
that
is it?
finally you embarrassed yourself. I'm not going to tell you now. You
What
got it
is
so
it?
wrong.
What? I don't even know what it is.
It's water.
Oh, okay, okay.
I think it's water.
Oh, okay. So Glacier EAU, which is the French word for water, EU.
Yeah,
Okay, and then he
I,
founded another sports drink thing and sold that to Coca-Cola for another 5.6
and I
billion.
think it's probably Glissot water. Glissot is probably how it's pronounced.
Okay, that would make sense. But okay, so he founded two beverages, sold them for billions. I've never heard of either of them. But now he's using those billions of dollars to just do the fun things in life, which is like, hey,
Own
I'm going to start a sports league
a
or own a
minor
sports league.
sports league.
Yeah. See, if you made billions of dollars, you wouldn't consider buying like a AAA club. I know you're more of a baseball guy. Come on, maybe double
I
A.
would slave over the practice of law for 12 hours a day still, no matter what.
Yeah, and you could do that while signing guys to minor league ball contracts.
Yeah, but see, owners, if there's one thing we've learned here in Washington, is that owners should not be the one signing anybody to any contract
That is true. That
in
is
terms of
true.
players. That's when things go horribly wrong. See Snyder, Dan.
Sure,
Right.
sure. Owners should stick to the harmless things, like sport, off the field nonsense, hot dog days, and picking uniforms.
Yeah,
I would make
and,
I would
and,
make the
and like,
perfect sports owner because I would say I have no idea how to build a team. Just let me make up stupid uniforms all day.
well, yeah, well, and I could run a team, but like, I don't do the things that like Dan Snyder did, and I
No,
wouldn't
no,
get in
no.
any kind of trouble, and so, and a lot of these guys have team presidents to do everything. Well, like the
Right,
NFL team
right,
where I
right.
was in the building with, the owner was never there. The team president did absolutely everything, and the owner was out doing like flying all around doing other things.
Sure, sure.
Now,
And
And in
other
case of Dan
people,
Snyder, he was floating around on a boat with,
other
women
people
of the
also there.
evening.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes.
now, in case anyone's curious, in 2024, the average viewership was 850,000, which was
For the
up
United
from
Football League.
yes
Yeah.
for the UFL, which was a 34% increase over the combined XFL USFL prior to that. But it dropped down almost
Hmm.
nearly 20% to 645,000. But week one opened up with almost an 18% increase up to about 760,000 in viewership.
This
So
year.
there's
Yep.
a this year. So it'd be interesting to watch to see if it maybe that momentum can continue growing going
I
forward.
got news for you. That's not a lot of momentum. I mean, if that was a network
I,
TV show, it'd get canceled quickly.
well,
It's
well,
on
we're also talking.
ESPN. Yeah.
Well, we're also talking about spring football that most people just don't care to go out of their way to watch.
Right.
I mean,
Right. Yeah. No, look, it's minor league football, but I love it.
yeah,
I love the trashiness. I love going and like there's the beer snake super fan
You
nonsense. It's
love
great.
any league like that. You're
I
more into
do.
leagues like that than anybody I know.
I
I mean,
absolutely am. I'm a
I mean
weirdo.
when Matt Corral is your franchise quarterback, I mean, kind of says a lot for the league. So,
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
but yeah,
that's my point.
Matt Corral is somebody's franchise quarterback, and Jordan Tamu in DC, which is not much better. It's
It's not any better at all.
no, no, no. But it's the kind of league where I want to see a guy like Trent Richardson, who's gonna bust out of the NFL pretty quickly, but freak athlete. I want to see a guy like that just go to one of these leagues and just be like, "I'm a quarterback. I'm gonna run for 1,000 yards. Why not?" I want that to happen, just for the
It
craziness.
could.
Yeah, it could. So all right, there. I embarrassed myself, Steve. You happy?
Yeah, I mean, it's
We,
not that hard for you to embarrass
no,
yourself.
we
I mean,
never.
it doesn't take
I never
much.
make you guys embarrass yourselves because
I
I'm a
don't have
nice
anything to
person.
embarrass myself over. Everything is
There's
perfectly,
so
totally
many
normal
things
and
we could
rational.
we could bring up.
There's not one single thing. I've admitted
Most of them
everything
are
honestly and
very dark
truthfully.
and mean. I'm not going to do that.
I've never said a single thing untrue about myself on this show. My
Never,
name really is Steve Thomas.
never, never. Well, right now you're Genghis Khan.
Well,
yes,
yeah.
For those who don't know, Steve has been doing a bit now for a while where he changes his name in teams every time.
We record in teams, and
Right.
because of the way we set it up, Alex is me on our teams
Right, because
he's
I'm the
the
only one who
techie
can figure
guy,
out how to do the tech, and you
and
set up the
it
account.
counts
Yep.
under my name. And so Alex is Steve Thomas, and so I have to make a name up. So I make a name up every week. I think last week I was Eddie Van Halen, if I recall.
Yeah.
yes.
I
Yeah,
was
you went on
Ronald
a little
Reagan, I
political
think, one
rant for
time.
a while.
Yeah,
Yeah, you were doing
yeah.
like politicians. Yeah.
So I figured Genghis today needed to get a little bit of love.
Genghis Khan. Yeah.
Yeah.
Killed 2 billion people, but also 1% of the entire planet technically related to him. Genghis Khan.
I mean, all doesn't it equal out and balance out
I
at the
guess
end of it all?
not quite still, probably, but it is fascinating that 1% of
was
the
he
planet
really
has his DNA.
was he really that bad of a guy?
Yes.
Well, I mean, consider the time, the culture, and how it was back then. I don't know. Maybe not.
Yeah, he's kind of an average dude.
Yeah.
Kind of guy we'd be doing a podcast with.
A horde guy, a guy with a horde. We don't have a horde. I don't think he would really want to talk to
If
us.
Genghis were here, we'd have a horde.
Hey, we'd finally get some good advertising revenue. All right. Speaking of hordes, there's not a horde to talk about. when it comes to topics today. This has been kind of a quiet week, but luckily we did get some things going down, and we're going to talk about some of our fun articles that we have up on the site. So we'll do that. Topic of things that actually happened today, though. One big thing happened, and that is the Commanders they brought in guys for a local pro day. This is something teams do before the draft, as you all know. Um, Washington under Adam Peters has done a few of these things where they want to bring a lot of guys in at once to see how players interact. This one was, though, more of a pro day situation where it's like, hey, bring in guys from the local schools, guys who are from around here, have them basically do a training camp, right? That's kind of how you do it. Or a pro
And
day
usually
camp.
they don't sign any of these guys. They
No,
might bring
no.
on one or two of them. Who knows?
I'm not going to go through the full list because it's mostly unknowns. 37 guys, all but three, or no, two, sorry, are from the area in some way. They either played college ball here or most of them grew up around here, like grew up in Maryland and Virginia.
Yeah, I'm looking through
Uh,
the list here, and
if you
there's
know
there's a
one name, I'll
guard.
be shocked.
No,
Yeah,
I don't know any of them. But what I'm
yeah,
saying is, there's one guard from Boston College who's from Nova Scotia,
yeah.
so
Logan
not
Taylor.
local.
Yep, yep.
Yeah.
Right.
There's wide receiver Jaden Bradley from North Carolina who went to UNLV. North Carolina, I don't consider part of the DC metro area.
No, but it's
It's
sort of
on the
generally from,
periphery.
yeah, it's on the
Yeah,
periphery of it.
yeah.
So almost all these, there's people here from a ton of them from Maryland
Yeah, a
and
lot of guys from Navy. I wanted to point
Navy.
out,
Yeah,
yeah, the Navy quarterback Blake Horvath was there.
right.
Uh,
Who's
the
good?
the one name that I thought was interesting, Bay Harveny, who is a Swiss player. He's from Switzerland and played college football at Johns Hopkins as a quarterback. I forgot Johns Hopkins even had a
I
football
didn't know they
team.
had a team before I
Yeah,
saw
yeah.
I didn't
this.
know that either.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's kind of wild to be like, wait, Johns Hopkins there's a football like,
Yeah, who knew?
yeah, yeah, a bunch of future doctors who really shouldn't be getting concussions because they're probably going to be doing their own neurosurgery eventually. That's not
I don't know
great.
if they're going to be doing their own neurosurgery, but
With all the AI going on, Steve, it's just going to be crazy. Yeah.
Now
never
we
So
know.
know now Alex, we know you have some dirt on kicker Damian Ramos though,
I have
or
no dirt
punter
on
Nick Falcistis.
no dirt whatsoever. They're not
Wow.
even on my radar. That's how far we're going, man.
You got to be pretty down the list to not be on Alex's kicker
Right.
radar.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you ain't kidding.
right, right. I can't tell you word one about either of them. I don't know what they look like. I didn't even know they brought in a kicker and punter because I was just scanning the list looking at like where people were from.
Don't forget,
Like,
like in 2024, Alex was advocating for Washington to sign every other kicker buried in some minor league sport,
right,
sports
and one of
team
them ended
somewhere.
up signing with the Cowboys and is the best kicker in the NFL's history right now. So
And another one signed with Detroit, who's
yeah.
big, who's has one of the strongest and most accurate legs in the league, right behind Aubrey. That's the one thing they produce in that league are some pretty good
Well,
kickers.
and they're playing into that. I know we tried to move on, but the UFL added a rule: any 60-yard field goal is 4 points because they're trying to push these kickers because they know that's an easy recruiting ground for the
It's
NFL.
not a bad idea, not a bad rule,
I wouldn't
actually.
do it in the NFL. I'd hate it in the NFL, but I think in a league like this, that's a great
I don't know.
idea.
That'd be an interesting change. I mean,
I think you're rewarding people for being less good on offense is my problem with it.
maybe.
Yeah. That's always just been my argument. It's like, oh, good, you didn't even get to the
But you
25.
might end up having some pretty cool game-ending drives in the fourth quarter, though, if you had
You
that.
might, and in the second quarter even,
Right.
like
or
people
e-
trying to
or e-
run the clock there.
or even some decisions to make to where you're within three, or
Hmm.
do I line up for
A
a
four-pointer.
60 plus for a
Yeah.
4-pointer? Yeah.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Well, so they have rules like you can't take a penalty and push yourself back, that kind of thing.
Right.
But yeah. Anyway, there was one of those kicked in the first week by the DC kicker. He hit a 61-yarder, I think it was, for 4 points.
Alex
didn't-
was the only one who noticed.
Hey, there were 30 guys at the watch party. 30 at Nighthawk Brewery. over in Pentagon City. I even
Was
went
it
to
you and a bunch of
Arlington.
mirrors around you?
Uh, look, we may have all looked very much alike. Uh, a bunch of very pudgy
Was it you and
middle-aged.
you and the bartender and a bunch of mirrors?
There were several bartenders. Very, very, very nice
Did the
bartenders
number of
there.
bartenders outnumber the number of
No,
guests
no,
watching the
it
game?
honestly did not. Like I said, it was
Are
about
you
30
including
people.
the mirrors or not?
There are no mirrors. It's a
Yes, sir.
brewery.
Don't lie.
The last thing you ever want to put in a brewery is a mirror. People don't want to see what they look like when they're drunk.
Yeah, but
Steve doesn't
what
know
they're
how to
trying.
respond to that.
I've never been in a brewery, so yeah, I don't know if this is true or not true, but I would argue that they're more interested in proving that there were more fans there than there actually were, so they probably did have mirrors. That's what I'm saying.
There were no mirrors. Trust me. There was just the
I refuse to believe
bartenders.
there are 30 humans who would watch a minor league football game.
Or go to a brewery together to watch it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Listen, it gives them a reason to get drunk on a day to watch some football, no matter how good or bad it is. They're going to go watch.
Steve, I think you would actually love these types of people because they're all as weird and awkward and antisocial as you and I. Like you fit right in because you're like, I don't understand other human beings. Let us all watch this sporting event together.
Yeah, but I'd have to go to a bar to do this, and that's just not gonna happen.
It has well, you don't even like good food anymore, so that's the other problem. Like you
Well, I
like
also don't want to be in a room with 30 humans if I
right,
can at all help it,
right. That's true. That is fair.
especially
Anyway,
30 humans who are drinking.
I would have easily been the most annoying person to Steve.
Right.
I don't remember walking home.
Oh my God.
No, I was fine. I took a little nap on the metro. It was all good. You know.
Should we move on to like a real actual topic?
Let's talk about a fake real topic, which is the uniforms, which are still not out, but they're coming out next week. The team dropped another video reveal today. Uh, this was the hey, we're going to show the players opening the box to look at the uniforms. You can't see it. There were little hints because they put like a GoPro in the box so that you get that. I'm gonna call it the Pulp Fiction shot of when they open the suitcase.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Famous film shot there. So they're getting that shot, and you do see a little bit of one uniform. You see like the burgundy and look. We all know it's going to be the like throwback '80s jersey, right? So you see it's the burgundy jersey with the white number and the gold outline. But
Isn't there really the only question whether it's going to have? We can't have the Redskins logo. God help us.
right,
So isn't there only question whether it's going to have a spear on the side or a W?
no, it's almost guaranteed that most of them are going to be a W. But Dave, you saw a rumor that you sent us that the odds are the black uniform is getting updated. And you saw a
Yeah.
rumor that somebody says they saw it and saw that it's a black uniform with a spear helmet, not the W.
Right. The
Which
spear helmet and also
Mhm.
with the burgundy lettering with the gold
right,
and white trim around it.
but more traditional looking to what Washington wore when they
I
were the Redskins.
hate
Right.
black uniforms
Hmm.
for the Washington team with the fire of 1,000 suns. Black is not a team color. Team colors are burgundy and gold, and
Right.
with a minor and white.
Right.
Black has nothing to do with anything, and they need to dump it immediately. It's to the point where I can't even I have a hard time even watching a game
Well,
when they're
the
wearing black
only
uniforms.
the only reason why I would stick around because I'm not saying every NFL team has it, but most have them, and it's been kind of a thing where they wear it a couple games a year. But if they're going to do it, it has to be something like I saw in that picture today because at least that black emphasizes the burgundy and the gold, and you see it pop on that jersey that way. At least you see the team colors on it, as
Right.
opposed to seeing what looks like almost like a cheap version of the Steelers black uniforms.
I
Right.
mean, that's a minor point. It's lipstick on a pig.
I will say
I
one,
grant you it's a slight improvement, but it's horrible.
yeah, it is an improvement. I generally am with Steve. I'm not a big fan of black uniforms for a
Yeah.
team where it's not their traditional color. Uh, but you are right. 12 teams do have black uniforms of some kind at this
Right.
point. And yes, I do know that number off the top of my head.
This is just an excuse to sell more uniforms, people, in case you
Of
haven't
course.
figured that out.
Oh,
Of
sure.
course.
Absolutely.
Well, and look, I said from the beginning, when they came out with those terrible uniforms 4 years ago on 2/2/22, this is Nike's strategy. They every time they've redesigned a team, they come out with something, it looks like hot garbage, and then in 5 years they just go back to what it used to be because no one likes the hot garbage.
Hmm.
But it means they can double up on uniform sales very easily. It's like,
Yeah.
hey, we know you're a mark. Buy this, you sucker. Buy 3 of them. Buy one in black. Buy one in gold.
That's exactly what it is. It's the
Right,
only reason they're doing any of
right.
this.
You will hate yourself for spending $800 on these awful looking uniforms, and then you're gonna like
Well, if
yourself
you
when you
think
buy
about
them
this,
again.
so there's a home uniform and away uniform.
Right,
There's the black uniform, there's the throwback uniform.
right,
You could buy a jersey of your favorite player in 4 different
right,
styles if you wanted
right.
to.
For 225 a pop.
Right.
Yep. So $900.
Or you just find a site that's selling them for like 25, $30 a piece.
Yeah, granted,
Sure.
but the point is, you have to keep buying.
Right.
Yeah.
If you're a sucker, that is.
Right. And they did it to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers a few years ago. They did it to Cleveland Browns. They've done it to the Jaguars fans about a dozen times because they just keep making terrible Jaguars
Yeah.
uniforms. It's amazing
Well,
how bad those people are.
Well, it's like the when he did the retro uniforms last year to emulate the '80s, and
Right.
I immediately bought a Jaden Daniels one on that one
Dave,
because that jersey
Dave went
looked just
shut
like
up
the
and
'80s.
here's my money. Yeah.
For that one, yes, immediately I
Yes.
did, yes, because it's much better than what they've had, and it's what I've worn a couple times since.
Right. No,
So
because it's the classic look. That's what you want.
yes,
I will
Yes.
never, ever wear a non-Redskins jersey.
I don't blame you. Like I hate actually wearing jerseys generally. I don't think they feel comfortable.
I kind of have a rule.
Yeah.
My rule, just in general, is I'm not going to wear a jersey for a player that's significantly younger than me.
And I think that's totally reasonable, by the way.
Yeah. If I'm
The-
going to
the-
wear a jersey, it'll be like a Daryl Green jersey or something.
The only
so-
contemporary jersey you guys know I have is Tressway, and that's just because I'm doing a bit, and because Tressway's an awesome dude, and we like him generally. So
Right.
I do
Tress
that.
is the only guy that came on this show who's ever tried to plug a board game.
He'll be the only one who ever does it.
Yes.
I guarantee. Right. Right.
He
But
wouldn't give us a free copy of it though. I remember.
I had already bought one
Yeah.
just to support him. I'm supportive like that.
He was a
but-
great guy though. I
yeah,
loved having him
he
on
is
the
a nice
show.
guy. Everyone always says he's one of the nicest guys on the team.
Okay, so everybody, here's the thing about the uniforms.
Right.
Don't get excited about it. This is just a way for them to steal your money. Yes, it's going to look more like the classic Redskins uniform, but it will never
Absolutely.
replace that. It's not going to
Right.
be the Redskins. It'll be as close as they can. This is why we were joking around about, who invented the spear, a couple weeks ago. And this is why.
Right. Right. And it's
So-
it's gonna be exactly what you saw last year. Only now we'll have the home version of it too.
Pretty
So,
much. Yeah.
Yeah. And
So
and then
nothing to see here. Move
there will
on.
be some kind of alternate nonsense that in
Somebody
black.
out there is probably very, very excited about it, but
Someone other than me,
there's-
yes.
other than Alex, yes.
Well, there's actually plenty on Twitter. They're all over
Yeah.
the place. I mean,
Yeah.
they're mostly the younger
Mhm.
fans who have a tie with the Redskins name during the years of absolute horrendous football.
Right.
So I mean, yeah, they're going to gravitate to all of this a lot more so than you or I. But I think ultimately that W is going to go off the helmet. I think ultimately it's going to wind up being a spear down the road, if not this year, eventually.
Yeah.
Because most of the people seems to hate the W for good reason. So
I'm gonna try and look it up because as much as Steve will never understand it, somebody pointed this out on one of the radio shows a while back when they first did the uniform reveal party or video, and I'm trying to see if I can find it on there to see what the number actually was, but the number of views that video gets versus the number of views hey, we re-signed such and
Look,
such
I
player. It's
understand it.
insane. Yeah.
It's not my thing. I'm
No, it's
not
not your
into
thing.
visual things like that. I mean,
Right.
some people are. I understand that.
Right.
This is just me whining about the name, basically.
Totally get it. I mean,
and which my column will talk much about that for this week.
Dave's
right.
column to be published on Friday, which is the day after you're listening to this.
So
Yes.
I will say today's thing that they did, the players looking 500,000 views on Twitter. Their average thing is like 12, 13,000. It's that's just what happens.
It's crazy.
There's yeah.
No,
Um
it's why the Commander's name is not going to go anywhere. It's going to stay,
yep.
and they're going to do the best they can to bring in the past and mold it in. And one of
Right.
the best things they could do is doing the spear, because at least many
Mhm.
teams can just many fans go, well, at least that pulls back the Redskins era. I'm still going to call them Redskins, and I got
Right.
that spear at least. At least I got that.
And people will still sing "Hail to the Reds." Like it'll be
Right.
30 years, and people will still be singing "Hail to the
I
Redskins."
already explained this. I
Yeah.
mean, a week ago. But for those of you who don't understand this, if the owner was going to change the name, it would have been right up front
Right.
immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah. He
Right.
had a
And they
window, and
didn't
it's
do it.
gone.
Yeah,
Yep.
right.
Yeah, we talked about that. All right, let's move on and talk about well, because it's a light day, we're going to talk about some of the articles we've been writing. Steve, I want to start with your article about Diami Brown's return, kind of what to expect. You really broke down kind of his past numbers and things like that. Look, people, you can go read the article on our website. It's Steve doing what he does best. I want to talk about that a little, but in that context of like what can Brown be this year, I also think we need to talk about what's going to be of this receiving group because they because of how it's being constructed right now.
Well, it's a good question, and it was actually Dave that made me think about this on the last show, and you said something like along the lines of the team might have brought De'Ami Brown back because he has a relationship with Jaden Daniels, and
Mm-hmm.
all that's correct. And
Right.
so that's what caused me to kind of dig into the numbers in this thing. And first of all, what I think is important to understand, a lot of people think of De'Ami Brown as kind of a deep threat,
Mm-hmm.
sort of the prototypical, Walmart version of Deshaun Jackson or something. And if you really think about it, that's really kind of not what he is.
No,
If you
he's
just go
not quite
to,
fast enough to be that.
no, I mean, he's 6 foot, which is not a hulking beast, but
Right.
that's average size for an NFL wide receiver. He's running a 4.44 second 40-yard dash.
Right.
But
Which is
if you think
fine.
it's
Yeah.
not slow, but it's not like some kind of burner. And so
Right.
he's not like the typical, gonna burn you in the slot type of
No.
receiver necessarily. So what got me thinking is why did De'Ami Brown come back here? And his stats told me the answer. So I'm not going to go into too much detail on this, but overall he's in 5 seasons. You know,
Right.
in his first 2 years, 21 and 22,
Did nothing
I'm
practically.
gonna kind of ignore that. Yeah,
Yeah.
because he was a backup, didn't really do anything. Um, and 23 was a little bit better, but that was prior. That was the prior
Right.
administration still. So
Right.
2024, he started to get a little bit more traction. Um, 16 games, 3 starts, 40 targets, 30 receptions, 308 yards, 75% catch percentage. Now, every other year of his career, here's his catch percentages. And some of these are really low numbers, so it's you're not
Right.
statistically relevant, but 48%, 35%, 52%, 75% in 2024. 10.3 yards per reception, which is not like Deshaun Jackson. 7.7 yards per target. Okay, keep that in mind because we're coming back to that. 7.3 yards per catch after reception.
Mm-hmm.
And this one, very important, I think. 7.1 yards average depth per target. And that means the point in time at which the quarterback's going to throw the ball at him, 7.1 yards. 21, it was 15.2. 22 with very few targets, 25.8. They're
Mm-hmm.
trying to force him into the role. 23 is 16.8. Well, what did Jaden Daniels do? Started using him short range.
Right.
So miraculously, that brought his catch percentage up. You know, um, and so it looks to me like he got enough of improvement where Jacksonville gave him a shot. They gave him a 1-year
Right.
contract. What was it, 11 million, 10 million, 11 million? Um, but it just didn't work for him in Jacksonville. Look at this numbers. 14 games, 6 starts, 37 targets, 20 receptions, 227 yards, 54.1% catch percentage, 11.4 yards per reception, 14 yards average depth per target. Okay, and he got
They
hurt.
kind of went back to the direction of trying to make him a deep guy.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
exactly right. He got
Yep.
hurt in the season, but even when he came back, he just kind of wasn't used at all. And so I think what's happened here is Diami has taken a small 1-year contract to get back to the only guy that's helped him put up decent numbers, and that's Jaden Daniels, who, for whatever reason, whether by accident or design, used him in short enough range that it got his catch percentage up. And so I think Diami is seeing this as a chance to
Yeah.
rebuild his career. And in Washington, I think the coaches are looking at it as a guy who has a decent relationship with Jane Daniels. So I think it's a much smarter topic or signing than anybody kind of gave it credit for. So
Well-
you guys, sorry I talked so long. You guys' thoughts?
No. So I think it's a lot of good points there. And one thing that stands out to me is his last year here, they used him on screens a whole lot. So that obviously impacted, I think, his percentages pretty heavily in terms of, or not percentages, the yards per catch. Like he probably made as many catches on screens as he did down the field. So I think that's a big variable in this.
Yeah, I can't get those and just the data alone, but you're
right.
probably
I'm
right.
just talking off memory, for the most part. So the question is though, will a new play caller call that kind of game, and we don't know that, right? We don't know that yet, because screens were a big part of Cliff Kingsbury's thing, right? Like that was kind of like, instead of running the ball, throw a screen. That was Kingsbury.
I guess my point is I don't automatically think De'Ami Brown necessarily has to be the slot guy automatically.
Right.
No, I don't think he is a slot guy. I think, his best case is he's an outside guy who you're going to as your third or fourth target. I think that's where his value really lays.
Dave?
Well, if you look at some of the early reports of what some of the players that recently signed talked about with David Blow's offense is it emulates much of what Ben Johnson does. And if you look at what Ben Johnson does, he does a lot of he works a lot on the intermediate game. He works a lot on misdirection. He does. I mean, Amon-Ra St. Brown lived under between 10 and 15 yards. He was a big yards after catch guy. And he sets up, the deep balls to Jameson Williams downfield, the seam route to Laporta, and that is where the Detroit Lions were most effective. Everything intermediate, then you open up downfield. If that's going to be the similar game plan to what Blau is going to have, and you already saw that the strength that Jaden Daniels has on the intermediate game, that's where bringing him back, makes a little more sense, even more so than I thought last time after reading your column, because now that's telling me that Blau has a role for him, maybe even saw what you saw in terms of what you broke down with the numbers and finds him a value. Maybe not necessarily in the slot, but even as a number 4 receiver, number 3 receiver potentially, if they don't get somebody from the draft. So I think there is a role for him to have a bounce back year if that offensive scheme is going to emulate much of what Ben Johnson does.
And that's clearly why Brown came back to Washington and took the contract that he took.
Right. And let's be honest, they have 2 guys they've drafted who they envision as, or they should be envisioning as their slot guys. McCaffrey is the bigger one. Obviously, he's going to play almost like that wide receiver, tight end flex thing at his size. And he's not huge, but he's big enough to do that. And then Lane is perfectly built to be that classic jitterbug, kind of like Crawford.
Right there.
Yeah,
I think
he
Luke
absolutely
McCaffrey
should be.
I think Luke McCaffrey is probably a shadow of what his brother is.
Sure.
And he's probably, to me, I still think he's more of a possession guy than anything,
Yeah.
and a
Although
special
before he
teamer.
got hurt, like every week he had one big catch for like 30 yards or so. It seemed like.
Yeah.
It just, if you look at I mean, they've got it's Terry McLaurin and a cast of thousands, on
Right.
this,
Oh yeah, yeah.
receiver group. I mean, just a bunch of nobody. Beyond Jalen Lane, of course. I mean, Ja'Cory Brooks, Treylon
Right.
Burks, who's far outperformed what he thought, and that's a guy who maybe has a future with the team. Van Jefferson, Jacoby
Right.
Jones, Nick Nash. I mean, these guys,
It's a
you
who's
know,
who of who's.
yeah, right. And so a guy like De'Ami Brown could come in here and, with his relationship with Jaden Daniels established already, really play a role. Would he be the number 3 receiver? Is he he's not going to be the X because that's
No.
McLaurin, but he could, play on the other side,
Right.
And so that's kind of my point. And I think Brown himself is seeing this. He saw what I saw, which is 24 is the only year of his career that really he made some progress. And so he's coming back to that scenario with Jaden Daniels.
And when you look at the easy one, of course, is yards. Basically, he doubled what he had done most of his career that one season with Jaden Daniels. It's not impressive. It's still just 300 something yards, but most of the
to
time,
me, it was more than just yards. It's it's catch percentage.
Right. Absolutely.
I mean, he just was a more effective receiver. In 2024 than any other year.
Now, this leads into what they could be looking for into the draft going forward now. Because maybe Carnell Tate's a guy, or even Jordan Tyson they might look at. But I think they're going to stick to either Jeremiah Love is there for that, or defense with Caleb Downs or something, or Sonny Styles, something like that. So that's where you have 3 names to really look to pay attention to in the draft, to look for early to mid 3rd round projections, which is Jacoby Lane out of USC, 6'4", 200 pounds, runs a 4.5 40. You have Malachi Fields is a guy that I think they could even be top of their board in terms of that round, because he's more of a raw receiver, so an unpolished route runner, but he's very effective on the contested balls. And he's 6'4", 223 pounds, 4.5 40. So that's a guy to really keep an eye on. Then you also have Omar Cooper Jr. Omar Cooper Jr. from Indiana, 6 foot, 201 pounds, runs a 4.49 40. And this guy is probably the most polished and technical route runner of the group. He's real big on yards after catch, and he lives underneath. He's not a huge deep threat guy. He doesn't get great separation, although he has good speed, long speed, but initial burst off the line he doesn't necessarily have. So there are 3 names that I could see them targeting in that 3rd round, or maybe they move up into maybe the back half of the 2nd round. You get someone like that, or if you have like a Antonio Williams from Clemson that falls, or something of that nature.
I've been watching a few guys for my special teams, but we won't go into like who I think the best special team.
Alex was watching hours of long snapper film.
I'll be honest, I'm never gonna watch long snappers. Even me, there's nothing I can discern.
That too nerdy even for Alex.
We need to contact your lawn snapper contact. And
we can do that again if we have to. I'll get a hold of it.
I don't think we need a long snapper though. We're okay there.
No.
Like if we needed one, I'd say, hey, make that.
But people don't know what Alex was talking about. I am nerdy enough myself where I did get a hold of one of the, if not the top long snapper coaches in the country. Outside, he's not at a university. He does special training for long snappers, and I talked to him for a while about long snappers, and as a result, I had 3 names, all of which got drafted, and one of which was the guy from Cheeseman.
Yes.
Right.
Now, Cheeseman was a bust, and they all were.
Yeah, but the point is, he nailed who was going to, be the 3.
And he had coached all of them.
Yes. Yeah, he knew all of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we may have to do that again.
Now, I will be curious. I will be curious if in the later rounds, if a guy like a Caden Wetchen from Iowa is available, if they jump all over him like they did with Lane last year. And this guy is a special teams demon in terms of return yardage and so forth. He's a bit undersized, could play the slot wise, have a multi role as a
The-
more of a gadget player, but
So that's the thing. All the guys who are going to be special teams guys, they're all slot guys, right?
yeah.
Like Kevin Coleman Jr., another one. Hank Betty's another one. But I'll get into those if we want to when we finally get to kickers and special teams. And I think we do that 10 minutes before the draft, and then we do the draft. Yeah,
If we have 10 minutes, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's why it's
all right.
always last.
Yeah, it's always lasts for a reason. All right. Speaking of those, we got a couple things that no one from Tampa has written that we can talk about. Let's do his position group breakdown
No.
first.
Let's do
No?
that. We have been talking draft. Let's do road to the draft first.
You want to do road to the draft?
Yeah,
first?
since
Okay.
we're already
All
talking
right.
that.
All right.
So, we do a weekly column written by no one from Tampa called Road to the Draft, in which he's updating on a weekly basis all of the mock drafts. So what we're doing is giving you a picture of the combined mock draft data, because one of them by himself doesn't mean anything, but you get a little bit better picture when you're tracking all of them. And so he's up to 290 mock drafts
Mm-hmm.
tracked. And now he's not doing this himself. He's getting this from something called NFL Mock Draft Database.
Yeah.
And
But
so
they look at everything. He just broke it down to Washington.
yes,
But,
right.
yeah.
And this is just broken down to Washington. So in Washington, currently today, of the 290 mock drafts, edge rusher is still the top choice at
Positionally,
32%. Yeah, position followed by running back at 19%, followed by safety at 15%. Safety and linebacker tied. Now,
Right.
but however, edge rusher's gone way down over the past couple weeks, clearly as a
Mhm.
result of free agency.
Right.
And of the players at the top of these, Jeremiah Love is the top player picked.
Right.
55 of these picked Jeremiah Love, followed by David Bailey, 46, followed by Caleb Downs and Reuben Bain at 44 each. And this, the edge rushers have been falling, the running
Right.
back and Downs have been rising. And so that's what we're seeing here as a trend for this. And all
Well-
of this makes sense.
Well, that does make sense, and also it makes sense just given the context that there's two edge rushers who are probably going top 5, if not.
I don't know
depending
about
on,
top 5, but it's certainly at the top of round 1 somewhere.
but like they're David Bailey and Reese, or well, it depends on what you call
Reese is not an edge rusher. I think
Yeah,
he's more of a linebacker.
Okay, that's fair, but
Well, he was a
Bailey def-
linebacker on Ohio State, but I think the draft has him listed as an edge.
some places do, some
Well,
places don't.
in the
Yeah,
column, no one has him listed as a linebacker.
right.
Okay.
Right. But Bain is the other one that a lot of people. So like you're getting a split vote kind of at that position.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think at
think
this
that's what-
point, Washington have to be run by idiots to draft an edge rusher. I mean, really. I mean, the team.
I think
You know how
Bailey's going to be good enough to. It doesn't matter. Like he's
look.
in that like borderline all pro caliber spot.
They have put an enormous amount of resources into the defensive line in particular.
Sure.
At some point, they have to start addressing other things. They've signed a
Right.
couple edge rushers. I get it. Some of them aren't signed to long-term contracts, but the truth of the matter is they need other things more. This running back and safety would be a perfectly great, way to go. Either one of those could be very useful. If Caleb Downs really is
Look,
like,
and I'm not going to be
that
mad if
good.
it's either of them, but if they're both gone and somehow Bailey and Reese are still there,
draft the wide receiver. They need a wide receiver.
Tate is a number 2 receiver at best. He's not a star.
If you go the direction of wide receiver and that, then you need to find a trade back partner because you can sit back, go a few spots back, and either get Tate, Tyson, or Mekhi Lemon. I mean,
now I'd be okay with that because you'd get a haul if like an
Right.
elite edge rusher is still there. You're talking about picking up some other team's one.
I mean, I'm
a
not
two,
normally
yeah.
in favor of trade backs on the top of round
No.
1, but in that case, I would be.
yeah, I agree with you on that. But right now, you're talking those three guys are kind of just like they're all like 1A. They're all lumped together in that one same group. With
Mhm.
Tyson bringing the most risk in terms of injury history, but
Right. And that's my thing. Like, to me, there's enough of an overall talent drop off between most of the receivers and those other, like, those defensive guys and
Yeah.
Love. If you're like putting grades on them, letter grades, you got 4 A+ in this draft, and then you got a couple. These receivers are more in that B+ A- range.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean, look, so Mendoza is the number 1 overall pick. Arvo Reese
Right.
is
Right.
probably the number 2. Both of those are for sure in the top 5. Let's say
Sure.
that. Mendoza's the number 1 pick for sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so then Washington is currently number 7. And
Mhm.
so there's 5 slots left, right? So 5 players: Jeremiah
Right.
Love, David Bailey, Caleb Downs, Reuben Bain, Sonny Styles, Carnell Tate. There's 6.
Right.
All of those are like top 10 worthy. And so to me, if any of Love, Downs, Styles, Tate are left, I would pick them over Bailey and Bain. That's what I would do personally.
I would take Bailey over Bain. I don't even consider an option for Washington, and we'll get into that when we
Right.
talk about the position group. But I definitely would take, like, to me, Tate is near the bottom of my top 10. Like, I don't know if the draft broke down where he was all that was there. I'm fine with it. Like, if Love is gone, Bailey's gone, or Downs is gone, and Styles is. If all those guys are gone, fine, give me Tate. I'll live with that. But I would take any of those guys over him, just because I think their ceiling is so much higher.
I would go so far as to say edge rusher needs to be eliminated from the possibility in round 1.
I'm never eliminating
I think it
an
would
edge
be
rusher.
irresponsible to draft yet another defensive lineman.
The only edge rusher, if he was sitting there in Bailey, you're taking the entire time on the clock, because it's going to be hard to pass on a Bailey. Now, now you got to wonder, like what Kevin Sheen was saying, it would be great if Bailey was there, but then again, you're thinking, why did he fall there? Then you got to figure out why he's even available
I'd be
at
honestly
7.
shocked if he's that far
Right.
down. The only thing I've heard is there's probably 2 teams going offensive line before Washington, and
I think the tackle is definitely going off the board before Washington, no doubt.
Magoa.
Yes.
Yeah. I think he'll be gone.
I didn't read him only because no one's column does not have.
No, he's mentioned
only
in there.
Only 2 of these 290 mock drafts pick Magoa to Washington,
Right.
And those 2 people clearly know nothing about what Washington needs.
Right. That would be an idiotic pick.
Yes.
Would David Bailey. Idiotic pick.
David Bailey's a Hall of Fame to All-Pro caliber, man. You don't turn. You got to look at high end as well as just need.
It's not a need at all. It's not a need.
Okay. How many teams win with an elite pass rusher?
How many pass rushers do you want on the roster exactly?
Well, actually,
how much money do you want to spend on the defensive line?
Look at Seattle, because of their front 4 and the rotation that they had.
Yeah.
They were able to. They rarely ever had a blitz, and when they did blitz, the situations in which they blitzed, they had packages where they would bring a corner up, pull him back, bring the safety in, or whatever it was, and they disguised it so well because they had so much pressure from their front 4. And they were able to, and what that defense was able to do was able to help overcome the deficiencies that guys like Sam Darnold had. Because Sam Darnold on a team on Seattle with an average defense, they don't win that Super Bowl in my mind. They just don't. I mean, Darnold should have had 3 interceptions in that game to begin with.
No, sure.
But
Darnold, QB.
That's why.
Yeah.
That's why if Bailey's sitting there, that's why he take the entire time, because it is so tough to sit there. Okay, well, do we really need an edge rusher? No, you're right, Steve. You don't need that. But you got a guy like Bailey there where you're sitting there staring, saying like like a Caleb Downs. Now, he would warrant. Now, he might get
Caleb
you.
Downs is another story. I would draft Caleb
Downs.
They could use a guy like that.
Right. If Caleb Downs is there and Love is gone, Downs is definitely on my radar. I'm absolutely fine with Downs.
And Bailey is the kind of player that could get you a haul to move back 4 or 5 spots.
Oh yeah,
for someone to jump up And that's where now you make that move because more than likely you'll have one of the 3 receivers to go from on that. Caleb Downs might find his way back maybe or whatever. So
yeah. No, I think you always got to listen to if someone's like, hey,
Yes.
here's a couple first round picks. All right, take it.
Yep.
Like if someone offers you that kind of like game changing haul,
Well, it depends on who's sitting there, of course,
Right.
and all that.
right? Of
But
course,
yeah,
of course.
But that's why you take the full time on the clock
Mhm.
and you really push that for hunting, hoping that someone wants to move up.
right. Oh, of
All right.
course.
So check that out every week. Our position group breakdown. Sorry, that's what's coming up. Our draft position review
Right.
was edge rushers this week.
Right.
I'm just gonna, and so no one wrote this too, and since we're already talking about it, I'm just gonna run through his list here,
Right.
really quickly. At the top, he's got Bain, Bailey, and then Keldrick Falk from Auburn, Akeem Mesidor from Miami, Cassius Howell, T.J. Parker. Those 3 sort of day 1, day 2 guys, and then the strictly day 2 guys, L.K. Overton from Alabama, Romello Height, Texas Tech, Danny Dennis Sutton, Penn State, Gabe Jacas, Illinois. I don't know who he is. Joshua Josephs, Tennessee, R. Mason Thomas, Oklahoma. Tyrak Sapp from Florida, Derek Moore from Michigan, Anthony Lucas from USC. Those are the guaranteed day 1, day 2 guys.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And yeah, I'm okay with drafting edge rusher day 2 or whatever. I'm talking my animosity to this is extending to the top of the first round. That's what. After you get it through about the second round, yeah, you just need to draft the best player, basically.
So look, what I will say is I don't think Bain's a good fit. He's 275. I think he's built to be like a 4-3 defensive end. He's not built to be like the outside linebacker style edge rusher. I think Bailey could be a OLB. Like just talking about the top guys. Falk also kind of more like Bain. That's a big guy. That he's 288 pounds. That's like he's playing defensive end in maybe a 3-4 even at that size. Honestly. Yeah. Like, by the way, side note, because I did linebackers, which we're going to get to, I think next week now.
Yeah.
We need to have a little powwow. Who's an edge rusher? Who's a linebacker? Who's a defensive end? Now that we're back to a 3-4, because there's a lot of overlap.
Yeah, no, there are. Yeah.
Like
when I set this up, I mean, I did.
Yeah, we don't really
had
go
a new
too
defensive
deep into
coordinator.
that.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't think we've had those discussions just in general in a while. But yeah, look, I get your trepidation about taking an edge rusher. I am strictly stuck on David Bailey is good enough where it's worth saying just go for it. The other guys I would not go for any of these other guys in the first round. I probably would avoid a lot of them in the second round too because I don't think it's an urgent need. Or second and third round. Like if you want to add depth, there's some guys here who might be interesting depth guys.
Yeah, I haven't studied any of them, but certainly, again, I mean, that far in the draft, just take the best player, when you're talking middle to the back of the draft.
Yeah. Now, the one thing I think people are sleeping on, though, the other guy from Florida. Everyone talks about Ruben Bain, but I think Akeem Mesidor, I think he might be a better pass rusher in the NFL. Now, he's still not, a good fit for a 3-4, but he is tenacious.
It's, not every player who is in the Hall of Fame was drafted in round 1.
Of course not. Yeah.
Of course not. And I'm trying to remember the guy that I think it was Tyler from I forget the other site that we've had, whatever. But he does film breakdown stuff like that for prior draft and everything. And he echoed what you had said about that because almost
talking about Mark Tyler from Hogstein.
Mark Tyler
or from
yes.
He
wrote for us.
He's
briefly.
Our buddy. He's been on the show a couple times.
Yeah.
Because
it was
a while back.
Alex.
But it was a while back, and the one thing he had said was he was trying to study Bain, but every time he was watching Bain, the other side took attention every time because he was
Mhm.
constantly disruptive in the backfield and constantly. I mean, where Bain, he saw him being taken out again, especially against more athletic and bigger offensive tackles. So to your point, you could actually be on the right path on that one. To be honest with you, Bain's a guy I could realistically see the fall. One of the guys that starts falling in the draft. To be honest with you.
Yeah, I think he will. I won't be, and
Well, I'm
everyone's
not
gonna make it
sure
about
if
the
like
short arms, but it's
I'm
not.
not sure if Jeremiah Love is going to be there at 7. Also, is the other thing.
I know I still don't think he will be, but I think Caleb
Yeah,
Downs will be. And he's a guy. He's my favorite player in this
I
draft.
think
I'd
you
be
got to
even
take
over
if he's
Bailey. You
there,
take
you
him.
got to take him absolutely.
Well,
Yeah.
I think of any of them are to fall, it's probably him, maybe Sonny Styles, if we're going back to that. Like, I know linebacker probably less of a need too, but I think both of those guys will really help you in the defensive coverage. So I wouldn't be
Right.
upset with either of them. Yeah, in terms of the linebacker edge rusher types, um, I'm
Well,
trying to
save your
look.
linebacker review for
Yeah,
next time. Don't go that.
I'll
Plus,
save
we're
most of that for there.
yeah. I mean, we're running out of time anyway here.
Okay. Let me pull up where did I put my list of our topics? What do we got left? Oh, we were gonna touch on who's left in the free agent class right now, just real quick. So let me find that because we were like, yeah, let's think of some things to talk about here. Um, there's not a lot left, right? We were talking about that before the show. Tariq Hill is still out there if you want a head
No,
case.
yeah,
And Stephon Diggs, we talked about him
no,
too.
another head case.
Yep. Yep. And just broadly, Trayvon Diggs. Let's go to him. I'm not even going to mention
Another head,
Rashawn
also
Rondo.
a
Yeah,
head case,
right. Less of a head case than his brother, though.
but yet
Yeah,
still a head case.
right. I'm kind of shocked that no one's just like, let's get the Diggs brothers both in here. They'll
Yeah.
destroy each other. Uh, L'Jarius Sneed. I'm kind of surprised he's still out there. But the big ones, of course, at quarterback, Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson still free agents. Where was Wilson last year? I don't even remember.
Giants, right?
Oh,
Well,
right.
start the year the Giants. Yeah.
Yeah, right. He started with the Giants. I'm kind of surprised that no one's picked either of them. Like, is Wilson announced anything? I know Aaron Rodgers is like doing his nonsense, his normal like hemming and hawing thing.
He's also like, what is he, 42? I mean,
40,
for
gonna
goodness
be
sakes,
43. Yeah,
find something else to do, Aaron.
yeah. The spry Taysom Hill at 35 is still out there. If anyone wants him.
No,
Yeah. The fun thing is looking at this list, man. 5 years ago, this would be a Hall of Fame caliber roster. Hassan Reddick still out there. David
Yeah.
Njoku's still out there. You would have built a great 2022 roster with these free agents.
you would
Maybe,
have built a roster. I don't know about a great roster.
if you had a younger Aaron Rodgers throwing to in his prime Tyreek Hill and Stephon Diggs.
I don't know
And
if that's
Juwan Jennings?
2022. That might be a couple years before then, is what I'm saying for Rodgers.
Okay, fair for Rodgers. But we're talking about those guys being like 29. Debo's still out there, by the way. Joey Bosa. How's Joey Bosa still a free agent? Is he hurt?
I
Not sure.
Yeah.
I was about to say, did he announce a retirement or something?
Let me see. What's going on there? Nope, nothing.
No, he's not. No, okay,
yeah.
I'm wrong. Yeah.
Yeah. That's so weird. Because again, Hall of Fame guy a few years ago, like Hall of Fame bound, right?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. It's wild how the NFL, man, like.
Point here is there's not a lot
Yeah.
of good players who are not head cases that are available, which is
No,
ought to
not
surprise no
much.
one.
Right.
No, and we were talking about receivers before. There are not a lot of good receiver options for Washington in that market. Like we said, 2 head cases, Debo. We could bring back Curtis Samuel. He was decent here as a number 2, right, for
Yeah,
one
he was
season.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what he did in Buffalo, but that's about it, man. Juwan Jennings, we talked about before too.
He's priced
He's
himself out.
yeah, yeah. I, I will be curious to see. There's going to be a flurry of these guys flying to different teams post draft, though, right? Like,
Yeah.
all these guys are just waiting for post draft at this point.
At this point, they are, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. If you're smart and you're Tyreek Hill, you're going to say, "Who's desperate? Who's
Well, Tyreek Hill is not a good example of this because he's got issues.
Well, sure. All right. If you're Debo, he's going. Who's desperate? How about that? Yeah, man. NFL, not for long. All right, and this show is not for long because we hit 1 hour somehow.
Congratulations, we made it, people.
We made it. It's a big win. Next week's show will be all Steve, you might want to skip next week's show, honestly. Because it's going to be
uniform.
all
Yeah,
uniform talk.
I may be busy that day. We'll see.
Yeah. Go take Kobe for a very, very, very long walk.
That or I'll be here just to make snide comments about the silliness of your uniform obsession.
Unless they surprise us all and unveil the logo's back and the name's back. What a curveball that would be.
Yeah,
That
I would
would
know
be
that already because they would have already had to file a trademark, some kind of trademark thing for it.
right. Right. They'd have to have done something like that. And it's not happening. We all know that.
No. But that would be a surprise. That would get me back in the fold.
Well, don't they still own the rights to Redskins?
Yeah, but they wouldn't just flat out bring back the old thing. It would have to be some kind of change.
Yeah.
But yes, they still, to answer your question, yes, they still own the trademarks to the old Redskins marks.
Right. Right. They haven't lost any of that yet, so maybe that's why you wouldn't have heard anything. I don't know.
Well, anyway, it would be something a little bit different. They're just not bringing back old uniforms.
Right. All right, guys. That'll take us to the end of this show. We will see you all next week.
Genghis Khan signing off.
Later.